Hi, it's me, Patrick, and the last 35 seconds have been spent with you experiencing nonverbal communication. But you actually experience nonverbal communication all the time. Anytime you have a face-to-face conversation with somebody, you are experiencing nonverbal communication. But you're also experiencing nonverbal communication on the phone and even perhaps while texting or emailing. That's because we have nonverbals when we text. They include things like a little sideways smiley face, little dot, dot, that's a little smiley. That's a nonverbal kind of communication going on there. Nonverbal communication is huge. It makes up so much of how we communicate, and that's why this is a really important chapter, chapter 6 of Kory Floyd's Interpersonal Communication. So I'm going to go through right today the 10 channels of nonverbal communication. This is going to get a little long, so I'll wait while you pause the video and go grab yourself some popcorn and a nice beverage. That'll help you get through the rest of the video. Okay, you're back? Great. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the 10 channels, and I'm going to be referring to my book. That's why I'm going to keep looking over here, because I don't have them all memorized in order the way I want to say them, so I'm going to be referring. The first is known as facial displays. That's what's going on up here. Facial displays do two things for us. The first thing they do is they tell us who we are. In fact, the majority of people identify other people through looking at their faces. The other thing it does is it's a signal of attractiveness. People with symmetrical faces, that is, faces that are even on both sides, tend to be more attractive to others. And that's why I'm not so much, because I got this little birthmark over here, and I don't have a birthmark over here, so I don't have the symmetry. Oh well, but I'm really funny, so that's all that matters. Um, so facial displays are, again, what's coming out up here. It's things like smiling. It's when your eyebrows go up. It's when you maybe little dimples that pop out. Things like that. Okay. So facial displays is the first channel of nonverbal communication. Facial displays also tells us emotion. When we're sad, when we're happy, when we're angry. That's another thing that facial displays do for us. Next, we have eye behaviors. Eye behaviors include eye contact. Are people making eye contact with you, or are they not? It also includes things like when your eyes dilate, your pupils dilate, and things like that happen. Movement and gestures is the third type. Movement and gestures is actually made up of 5 subcategories. This includes things like emblems. Emblems are things that have an actual meaning to us. So if I do this, that means hello or goodbye, and so that has a direct meaning. Illustrators are when we use our hands to illustrate something. I caught a fish that was this big, right? Or, oh, I'm just a little bit sorry, right? So things like that. Affect displays are when we use our gestures in order to show emotion. So if I did this and I'm like, yes, I'm excited. That's a woohoo, happy, happy. That is an affect display. Next, we have regulators. Regulators are things that control the flow of conversation. So if I did this, I don't want you to talk some more. If I go like this, that means go on, right? So that's regulating conversation. And the final ones are adapters. Adapters are when we adjust ourselves or something. So if I'm like a little fuzz right here, fuzz right there, that's an adapter. Okay. The next type of, so that's the third of our channels of nonverbal. The fourth channel is called touch behaviors, and just like with the gestures, there are 5 types of those as well. The first one is a caregiving touch. That's the kind of touch you might get from a nurse who's maybe taking your blood. We have power and control touch. That's the kind of touch you might get when maybe you're having somebody move and they can't hear you. You're in a really loud place, and so you kind of just push your hand on the back of their back so they'll move out of the way for you. That's a power control touch. Aggressive touch. Aggressive touch is bam, hitting somebody. That's an aggressive touch. And finally, a ritualistic touch. That would be like a handshake. And I think I missed one. I did. Affectionate touch. That's a hug. I'm giving you all a hug. There's your little affectionate touch for the day. And the next channel of nonverbal are vocal behaviors. And you're like, nonverbal, how can vocal behaviors be a nonverbal type of communication? And here's how. How loud we talk, or how soft we talk, or an accent that we might have, or anything else that we do with our voice is a type of nonverbal. If we talk really fast, if we talk really slow, or if we pronounce things in different ways, if we have a dialect or accent, all of these things contribute to nonverbal. Also, there's something that's part of vocal, which is called silence. Silence communicates something too. Very, very tricky. Next, we have the use of smell. Smell has to do with when we smell a certain way. First of all, we're sending a message about ourselves, right? But we also have sense memories that come when we smell things, and so it might make us actually change our behavior. If I smell chocolate chip cookies, I get really happy because I think of my Grammy and how she made chocolate chip cookies for me, and it makes me all like warm and fuzzy inside. Also, smell has something to do with sexual attraction, specifically pheromones, which you probably read about in a biology class. Don't need to get into that right now. The use of space. This is also known as proxemics. How close you stand to somebody. You know, if you're kind of like regular distance in the United States, that's a fine. But when you get really, really, really close to somebody, and you get even closer, like, hey, how are you guys doing? That's really creepy. Don't do that. Nobody likes that. We have physical appearance. That would include what you're wearing and how you keep your hair. You know, basically what you look like overall. It's your physical appearance. The use of time. How we use time. For example, I've kept you here for, as of right now, about 7 minutes and 25 seconds. I am using your time up right now, and the fact that I'm trying to rush to get through this shows that I respect your time, so that's a way of communicating as well. The next one is the use of artifacts. And I think this should be the last one. Hopefully I didn't skip any. The use of artifacts. Artifacts are the things that you have around you. They are the things that you have, like I have a phone, and it happens to be an iPhone, which shows that I like iPhones, and that might say something about me to some people. It's, for example, going to say that I'm not, not necessarily rich. It's not like I have a gold-plated iPhone, but I'm definitely not poor, because a lot of poor people don't have phones that cost a lot of money. So it tells you something about me. It communicates something about me. The artifacts that I have around, a picture of my wife in my office here. I have an M&M Easter bunny. I have, I don't know, a cup. These are all artifacts that might tell you something about me. If you look behind me up here, there's a big poster thing that's one of my former students, and you can't see it, but I have a Star Wars poster over here on the wall. These all tell you something about me. These are artifacts that represent who I am. So those are the 10 types of nonverbal communication channels: facial displays, eye behaviors, movement gestures, touch behaviors, vocal behaviors, use of smell, use of space, physical appearance, use of time, and artifacts. That is 10 right there. And I hope you had a great time. We did it all in about 9 minutes. Bye.